Hey everyone, so today I just wanted to make a quick guide with some pretty basic money making tips that can get you your first couple divines and get you even more currency as you play the game. First, let's talk about generating gold, because purchasing items in bulk can add up. So what we can do to generate an almost infinite amount of gold, and wherever your artifacts are, you just have to look at them, right? It's like a magic trick. We'll go to ROG, buy items, we'll type in rare, and just like that, we can purchase. We'll do 2 pages of items. This takes, what, maybe 15 seconds? So we'll buy these. Not this. So I have 84,000 coins, and just like that, we got 28,000 gold in, what was that, 15, 20 seconds? And the cost to do this, if we go to the currency exchange, we want expedition, exotic coinage. Now these aren't too bad. They have gone up a little bit, but for say 18 exalts, you can get 27 pages of loot. And then we also want expedition, order artifacts, and these are so cheap. So we can see for 2 exalts, we can buy 206. It does cost a little bit of gold, but this would get you 400,000 gold worth of rares. Now, if you have absolutely nothing, the earliest thing you could do to start making some currency is go to the trade website. You don't want to use the in-game trade for this, just because we're going to be making a lot of purchases. But what you could do is search for uniques, search for ball orbs, search, and we can see that we can purchase uniques for a single ball orb. There is about a 6,000 gold fee on average per item, but what we could do is travel to the hideout, and I'll do maybe 4 quick purchases. So we can buy this, and then from the trade website, we can just travel to another hideout. We can buy that, travel to another hideout. We can buy this, and we'll travel to one more hideout, and we can buy this. So you can make, 5 or 6 trades per minute, and then what we could do is, I'll just go back to my hideout, is we can disenchant all of these for 1 chance shard apiece. The reason we do this is because if we go to the currency exchange and we say we want exalted orbs, but we have orbs of chance, you can sell orbs of chance for 23 exalted orbs apiece, and they are going up, which means each chance shard is 2.4 exalts. Now each Vol orb, we can buy Vol orbs for less than 1 exalt. So we are effectively making over 1 exalt per trade, and that's even after the cost of generating a little bit of gold using the exotic coinage and order artifacts. Again, if you have absolutely nothing, this is something you could do to get a couple hundred exalts, maybe even a little bit more. So next we have the Trial of the Sekhemas. Now this is something I covered in my tips and tricks video, but you can sell test of time barias. So how you do this is you just make it to floor 3, we defeat the scorpion boss, and we will be able to pull out the test of time baria. We can just kill this guy. There he goes. Now, when you finish a trial, before you pull out your baria, make sure you open up all of these chests. Make sure you use any keys you have. So we'll open up this one. I got scammed. Do not proceed to the next trial. Instead, we can just exit. We can go to the relic altar, and look at that, the test of time baria. So we can just pull this out, and we can see the test of time baria for exalted orbs is worth about 175, maybe 180 exalts. Not too bad, and depending on how quickly you can run the trials, I was able to get this in about 23 minutes, I think. and my build is only at half the speed it could be, because I'm not using weapon swaps. So if you have a really fast build, you could get 3 or maybe even 4 of these per hour. A lot of people don't enjoy this, they find it pretty difficult. So what you need is a Barya with 4 number of trials, and then you need to realize that this is kind of like a roguelite. You go through, you get gear that's going to make future runs easier. Well, I guess in this case, you can just buy this stuff. But if we look at this, we have honor resistance, 14%, 12%, 31% plus increased maximum honor. So 5,000 honor with nearly 75% resistance, that is almost 20,000 effective honor that I'm working with. So if you decide to do this, just make sure you have honor resistance, max honor, and anything else that might be useful. Now, in addition to farming test of time Baryas, something else you could do is instead of farming the Baryas, you could purchase them, run through the test of time, and sell Ascendancy Carries. So if we look in the trade chat, do we have any Ascendancies? Wants to sell 4th trial of Ascendancy, all 8 points. They're still going for 1 div. I mean, 1 div is 300 exalts. So we have multiple people selling Trials of Ascendancy for 1 divine each. So if you have a build that can handle defeating the boss upscaled for however many players you are carrying, I mean, if you carry 5 players at 250x apiece, I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 divines worth of currency every maybe 20 minutes, 10 minutes to run through the area, 10 minutes to find 5 people to carry. This is so much currency if you have a build that can handle it. Now this is a more advanced moneymaker. Definitely not for everyone, but it is an option. Now the next moneymaker, now we can run the Twisted Domain at the highest level. Now, Breach Splinters, you can get 150 of them for less than 25 exalts, and we do not even need to defeat the boss. We just want that loot explosion at the end. So because we're not defeating the boss, this is so much more accessible. All you have to do is defeat these common mobs, and the entire run should only take, what, like 2 or 3 minutes? So we will just skip to the end to see that loot explosion. Alright, and there it is. So what we want are all of these catalysts, any orbs. You can easily get divine orbs doing this. We'll take these uniques and all of the breach rings. These are the money, or at least they can be the money with the right rolls. And we also have some level 5 equipment, or some tier 5 equipment. So we will go price check all of this. So first, for the uniques, we can sell those for 2 chance shards. That's about 4.5 exalts. Currency exchange, I want exalts. I have, and look at that, a stack of 4 of these. We just made 21 exalts off that, so that's 21. We'll say that's 25 exalts. Let's see what these physical ones are worth. Nothing, nothing. Let's see, do we have any other money catalysts? So we'll say that's another 21 exalts. So in 3 minutes, we were able to profit about 20-25 exalts just from the catalysts and any small currency that we picked up. And on top of that, we have any items we pick up, so we can check this belt. Double resist, probably not worth anything. We got this helmet. Accuracy triple res? I mean, that could be something, and this is absolutely nothing. But the breach rings, that's why we run this, because these can be valuable. Unfortunately, this one is garbage. What we want, we just want at least double res, maybe some added damage, you know, anything that looks decent. Double leech, all res, probably not. Double attributes, cold resistance. I'd say that we didn't really hit big with the breach rings. What you could do if you didn't get any good breach rings is you can try recombining them. Let's see if we hit big. Triple attributes and double increased damage. Everything has such a low roll. Probably not worth anything. I don't think this is worth anything yet. If we get a big percent increased evasion, maybe? Okay, we got hybrid life and evasion. Now, if we get a big flat evasion, and it's dead. And the splinters are only going to cost you like 22 exalts per run. So that is definitely something you could do. And if you can of course go back in and defeat the boss for even more drops. So the next tip is make sure you are picking up tablets. They can be so expensive. So if you didn't know, any precursor tablet, the base ones that irradiate areas, are super expensive. So we have the Grand Project and Visions of Paradise. I just recently found out that those are worth money. So we have the Grand Project. We will look for Exalted Orbs only. 100 exalts for something I thought had no value. And we also have Visions of Paradise. Now this is almost 1100 exalts. And on top of these, anything that has quantity. So if we just type in quant, we don't want quantity of waystones. We want quantity of items found in your maps. We want anything that is 7%. And why? You can type in quantity of items in your maps, 7% minimum. And they start at 45 exalts, maybe even upwards of 50x. And these are just for like delirium tablets. If you were to get an overseer precursor tablet, they go up so much more. 110, 120 exalts, almost half a divine. So make sure you're picking up all of your tablets and you are just slamming them with transmutations and augmentations because you can hit big. Another big money tablet are ritual tablets that have the suffix. So we can see ritual altars in your maps allow rerolling favors and additional time. Exalted orbs, they're still worth half a divine just for this one modifier. So make sure you're picking up all your tablets, you're looking for quantity, you're looking for the unique precursor tablets, and you're looking for ritual tablets that have an additional reroll. Those are the money drops. Next we have map mechanic juicing. So I just released a video on how to juice rituals, and I can actually give you a little sneak peek at some of the loot. I'm planning on making a small loot video from maybe 30 rituals. Right now I've had 7 rituals, and this is the loot so far. I've already gotten back what I invested in just juicing the rituals, and the last ritual I did, I got a big money drop. It was 24,000 tributes, so I had to defer it. So when running rituals, there's a couple things we want to look out for. We can see ritual altars in your maps allow re-rolling favors and additional time. You can combo that with the unique tablet, can re-roll favors at ritual altars in your maps twice as many times. So in this first tower, we have increased magic monsters and re-roll an additional time. We'll put that in there. And then we have the dual precursor tablets, so reductions to deferring favors and re-rolling favors. We want that in there. And then I want the re-roll twice as many times. That is going to give every single one of these maps 6 re-rolls. So let's influence that. And then what I would do in my second tower, so we have a little bit more tribute from slain monsters. Deferring favors, get that down to as little as possible. This is really good, and again, the re-rolling favors costs reduced tribute is also amazing. For rituals, the absolute most important thing on your map is pack size. You want more enemies so that there are more enemies spawning near the rituals and more enemies being revived by the rituals. That is what's going to give you thousands and thousands of tribute. So we have these omens of chaotic quantity. So we have a 50% pack size, and from here, we can use diluted liquid guilt. You can get 3 of these for 1.5, maybe 2 exalts. So we can go ahead and put 3 of these in here, and we can see 24% increased pack size, 24% more monsters. What's important is we have just pack size, increased magic monsters, 20% increased magic pack size. We want as many monsters as possible. Again, here we have pack size, increased number of monster packs. And then we have the increased effect of precursor tablets. We have all 4 of these nodes. A 20% chance to double the effect of precursor tablets. So that is how you go from 4 rerolls to maybe 6 to maybe even 8, depending on what kind of tablets you used. And then down to the bottom right, that's just increased effect of explicit modifiers. We have a little bit of that. And then over here, we have another 9% increased pack size. You absolutely want the 50% deferral cost reduction. And then we have rerolling favors at ritual altars, costs 25% reduced tribute. Ritual favors in your maps have a 100% increased chance to be omens. And then finally, your maps with ritual altars always have 4 ritual altars. If you juice rituals, when you find a 2-tower setup, you do want 1 tablet to be a normal precursor tablet to increase the level of each area by 1. So we can see area has +1 to monster level. So when you run something like this with a tier 15 map, the monster level will be 80. And you want the area level to be 80 so that you can get 5 very expensive omens that only drop at level 80. But definitely find a 2-tower setup, juice your content, and you are going to make so much money. And the final tip, kinda already went over this, but it is to check your stash tab for currency. And that's because you're probably sitting on way more currency than you think. So let me show you how quickly you can price check items to see if you are sitting on more currency than you think. So we can see exalts are already under what I want, and for what I have, we can just quickly price check. Of course, we know divines are very expensive, but what about annulments? 90 exalts. Fracturing orbs, 83 exalts. If you're sitting on any of those, we have perfect jewelers, only 30. 23 for a greater chaos. We can check catalysts. Again, if you're just throwing these in your stash, you're probably sitting on some currency. Not all of them are worth something though. We have Omens of Corruption, 9 exalts, an Omen of Whittling, 350 exalts, the Chaotic Rarity Omens, almost 30x, Omens of the Ancient, 3.5, Omens of Homogenizing Exaltation, 91x. You can price check things so quickly, so go through your stash and just see if you are sitting on any currency you are not using. Alright, and I think that is just about everything I wanted to cover. Just some quick money-making tips, some quick money-making methods to really get you started earning currency. And with that, I think we are just about done for today. So as always, everyone, take care.